Hey everybody, welcome into a brand new season of The Dig, powered by Emeritus. I'm Jessica Coody, and a perfect guest for our kickoff episode because one of the biggest topics going into the season has been the Husker middles and the guy who coaches the group, Brennan Hagar. Thanks for being back with us.
Yeah, good to be back.
Well, welcome back for, again, another season as an assistant coach. You're a newer assistant coach, young guy, but how do you feel different going into, I guess, year two officially as an assistant?
Yeah, I definitely feel more prepared. Year one underneath my belt, I just have a better feeling of Kenna and Manaia, and then we've gotten to know Key like pretty well, and obviously Andi and I are like thick as thieves, close as can be, so even more familiar with her and just what she needs more from me. So I'm just more familiar with kind of my role and the areas of growth that I needed to make. And yeah, so super excited.
Well, want to dive into all the players, but let's go back to Sunday, red-white scrimmage. How did you guys, when you turned on the film, what did you like? What were some areas that, maybe we need to be better at?
Yeah, so first watched it yesterday, and leaving there, obviously none of us were thrilled about the offensive numbers. But going back initially, I'm like, okay, we defensively, a lot of the stuff that we were training and wanted to have like main areas of focus, like block footwork, eye work, just from a middle standpoint specifically. I mean, the numbers were reflective of, I think Manaia said it best, like in her press conference, that we're the only team that could hold ourselves to that number. And I feel like that's the best way to put and kind of sum up that scrimmage, that defensively we were really, really good. And going back, like from an offensive standpoint, a lot of the stuff that we were trying to work on, I mean, we're playing against ourselves, so we were aware that we were trying to work on those things. So there's like a balance between the two where the offense wasn't as bad as we thought, but like live, you're like, okay, could someone kill a ball, please? But the intentionality from the offensive side of things was good. Like we were trying to do the right things. It's just we're playing against ourselves. Who knows like what we're trying to do, what we're trying to work on. So I was more happy like looking back, but I'm just personally like really stoked that we don't look unstoppable right now. I think there's a lot of room of growth, and that might be something that was talked a lot about last season where we looked so good so early on, where the conversation of how much better can we actually get, and I think this is a really good starting point where it makes us even more hungry, especially with the four that are seniors that are leading us.
Danny had talked about that she felt like the defense was ahead of the offense. Why is that the case?
I think just the focus of kind of like what we're trying to be better at. I felt like last year we felt like we didn't block enough balls for points collectively. And I think that Andi has worked really, really hard to get herself better from that aspect. And no one had really seen Kenna, but Kenna is probably, when she blocks the ball comes back harder than whoever hit it. I mean, there's times in practice where it's insane what she does. And Key is just a naturally great blocker in and of itself, and obviously Manaia after her performance on Sunday. It's just, we've definitely leveled up in that area, and I felt like all of the pins, all the right and left side blockers, both Bergen and Campbell as well, have just all gotten so much better, and we've really made an emphasis to kind of like really break down that piece of the game. And so it's really good to know that the 2.5, 3 weeks that leading up to the red-white, that's starting to, show that it's an area of growth.
Allie Check was on the call, and she interned for us. We were talking with her before, and she just, was going on, and even mentioned it to a couple of the teammates that came up, how impressed she was with the block. So that had to make you really happy.
Yeah, it's definitely, Jalen and I have put a lot of hard work into it, so it's good to see that, again, early on, but there's still a lot of room for growth. Okay,
so let's maybe go through your group a little bit, starting with Andi Jackson, the reigning middle blocker of the year. You think, what more can she get better at? But it sounds like there's a lot of things that she wanted to focus on going into this year.
Oh yeah, I think that the best part about Andi is that she's always wanting to get better. Like I don't even really think that she's understands how impressive like that accolade is. And I mean, it is insane. Like just what she was able to do last year, and just I think each year she's just gotten better and better and better. And I think Jalen said it in some interview where I think Andi's best volleyball, like it won't happen in college, which is so exciting. And I think she's now starting to understand that, where just getting her exposure like on the national team or this summer, and just everything that she's learned from them, as well as like last year and us, and each year her just awareness of the areas of growth that she wants to get better at. I mean, she's now trying out a new serve, and we saw that has finally kind of like started to click for her, and that's really great. The blocking is so much better. It just seems like the game's getting slower for her finally, and I feel like it just needed to have happen with experience, and because she had started maybe a little bit later than everybody else, but it's now starting to kind of like fall into place for her, and so I think that's really exciting.
So when you talk about Andi's, blocking improvement, where is that? How do you identify that? Why is that something that, hey, we got to get better at this? I guess why is that maybe a little bit further behind in her game than the other areas?
Blocking's so hard.
Yeah.
There's so many things, especially when you're a middle, where you have to have really, really great vision in terms of, and you have to be calm in those stressful situations. I mean, especially in our gym where we pass the ball as good as or better than anybody in the country, where we have physicality from every position, that it can seem very overwhelming in, I have to know this tendency when the ball's set here. She likes to hit this shot. Is it out of system? Does Campbell set the ball faster than Bergen? Does Bergen set the ball faster than Campbell? Who's on what side? Like there's so much like outside noise from a blocking standpoint that you really have to just go through a lot of failure and realize like, okay, I'm going to be calm in these stressful situations and know what to look at the right time when I'm looking at it. And so it's just a lot of eye work and kind of like calming what we're looking at. And I feel like Andi's gotten much more calm, and you can just tell like posture wise when a middle's kind of like freaked out and there's a lot going on and they don't know what to look at because there's so much happening. And Andi's really kind of like leaned into that. And so, she's just, the block moves that she was doing, she was on time a lot of the time, which is great for her. And it's just a comfortability thing where you have to do it more live. There's only so much block training that you can do where it's controlled, that it's the uncontrollable factor for her that, and just like middles and blocking in general, where we just needed to get a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable.
The mental part of it, I guess, seems like, I guess I didn't realize how much that plays into it, the mental aspect of it, which probably also goes into why you see a jump for freshman to sophomore year,
For sure, yeah. It's just a level of comfortability, again, with being uncomfortable and knowing that it's stressful. Like, we know that it's hard. I'm the first person to tell them, like, this is very hard. And just know that, like, we know that it's hard, but we're capable of doing that.
Right. Okay, so how about Manaia Ogbechie? We saw her and had some big flashes last season. What kind of jump have you seen her make? She also had a big spring too, but just even from spring to now.
Oh yeah, she's another one where she was already such a gifted blocker. I mean, it was, I think, her first experience like being with the team last year. I think it was the first time that she blocked a ball where whoever was hitting it didn't think that she was there. And that's like kind of her biggest gift, is that
she comes out of nowhere.
Comes out of nowhere, and then what you think is open is not open to her. And she just has really good vision. She's just naturally like moves well along the net. Her range as an attacker is second to none. I mean, that was even last year. Like, her ability to move the ball and her hand on ball is really, really good, where we can even underset her and she can still find a way to score. So it's just her jump blocking in the last week and a half. There was like a little technical tweak with her hands, and kind of figured out some cues and things that she can really think of, because we don't have to change a whole lot with her. It's just making sure that technique wise, she's doing the same repetition, like same movements over and over and over. And that was evident as of Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. What were the challenges that you posed to her? I mean, you're replacing Rebecca Alec, which is a big hole to fill. But as Danny said, you feel like the room as a whole is probably more talented just because those two, and then you add Key. But for Manaia, who saw some action last year, now going into year 2, what were some of the areas that you challenged her in?
Yeah, so we're still having those conversations of, we had 2 All-Americans in my position group last year, and arguably we were the best middle duo in the country, and that doesn't get to drop off. I still expect and I hope that whoever's in that second spot, if it is Manaia, that she's pushing herself to be an All-American, all-conference player. We're going to have the best middle duo in the country, and that just doesn't, you don't just get to, that doesn't get handed to you based off of, I don't know, how highly you were recruited or everything. Now that based off of how Danny wants to run the offense, teams know that we want to set the middle, and you just have to know you're going to have 4-6 hands in front of you, maybe more times than you're used to. So just kind of accepting the challenge that it's going to be hard, and especially after last season, I mean, I think she hit 550 on the year last year as a freshman. Granted, with the time that was given, I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very exciting that she's also someone who doesn't shy away from that and is willing to take on kind of that load, that pressure. She's not easily rattled, and just her calming presence, I think is what makes her so special from both sides of the ball, where she's like, okay, sounds good.
Your group overall, and we'll talk about the other two too, it's just such a great group.
Yep.
I mean, you got to love coming to work every single day and working with that group.
I'm definitely spoiled, for sure.
All right, well, how about Kenna Cogill, again, redshirted last year, which will no longer have red shirts anymore with the 5-5, but Danny had talked throughout the season that it was getting harder and harder as the season went along to keep that red shirt on her. What were you guys seeing in her throughout just, I guess, the growth of last season, even before you took the court in spring?
Yeah, so when Kenna came to us, there were just a lot of things where we felt like she was just behind because her and Manaia didn't come to us in the spring of that year, in January. And so they'd finished out their club season, and they came to us in the summer. And so there were just a few things eye work, blocking wise, the normal freshman stuff, where Manaia was just a little bit further along, and Kenna was the perfect person to have red shirt. She even thought that she should, and she knows that she would personally benefit from that. So for Kenna last year, it was a lot of mini goals, and what can she get better at this week, and her intentionality and almost falling in love with the process. I mean, I think she fell in love with the process more than anybody else, and you really saw that with just how she is as a person, how she was raised. She's not somebody who gets down on herself, and if she's going to make an error, those usually don't stack on each other, where sometimes most freshmen make an error, they get internal, and she doesn't. She's a very external person, always smiling, and it's perfect. Can we keep Kenna smiling for 4 more years? Because it's worked out pretty well. And so she's just really challenged herself and gotten better. I mean, each practice, and is now pushing Manaia, Andi, Key. I mean, we just keep upping the level, and she was doing that as a redshirt. That's why it was so hard to keep her in that position.
What are the things that she does really, really well, and what are the things that you're challenging her on?
She's got a really fast arm. I mean, she reminds me a lot, and I've said this before, she's like Layla Blackwell 2.0, where just how she draws her arm, she has long arms, she's a great blocker, just a natural feel, moves well along the net. I think for her, it's how much can she affect the offensive game behind the setter off of 1 foot. She's pretty good off 2, but I want to make sure that any middle that comes to us, the slide is not something that we're afraid of. We're very comfortable going behind, and her range going both ways, she's pretty good going one way, and we just want to make sure that her spacing, her vision from an attack standpoint is when we get the ball to Kenna kills. And so I think it was in the first set, she had 3 straight points where that was just a glimpse of, I think, what's to come. And she's a great blocker. Like out of system, I would not want to hit into her because it's coming back hard.
Olivia had told me in the match that she was one of the better servers too.
Yes. So that's something that, I mean, Kenna, I think that just, again, it's a testament of how you are as a player, just like the level-headedness to go back and hit a serve as hard as she does consistently. I mean, she bombs from beyond the end line, and I felt like she was a little nervous. She served, I would probably give it a C average, and we'll talk about that, but like that's a weapon of hers, and we want her to go back and go for it.
She probably embraces that. Like, she's probably like,
for sure,
I want to be that.
Yep.
So she probably doesn't mind that I mean, she probably wants to hear that criticism.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Feedback.
Yep.
All right, how about Key, the freshman, Keoni Williams? I mean, I had a chance to chat with her as a part of our newcomer series. I love all 3 of those freshmen. They're just fantastic. Seem
awesome.
to fit right in.
Yep.
But tell us about Key and how she's fitting into the battles.
Yeah, Key's, I think at least 4 times a practice, she's just so funny and just so like real. She doesn't love to serve, which is so funny because we do a lot of serving. And so she's very excited when we're not serving anymore. And so she's awesome. She wants to be the best that she can absolutely be. And her and I, she would text a lot during the summer when she was with USA, and just how intentional she was. Like she was starting to like understand and get a better feel for her eye work and what she needs to look at. And offensively, I think there's room for growth, and we're going to do like a lot of like technique stuff to help that area, and just know that everybody's as big as you are now. And so I think that's one issue where she's come to me, and I didn't have to go to her, where she's like, okay, how can I start to kill more balls? And so that discussion, now that we have game film, we're able to kind of like dive into that a little bit more. And then she can now understand that these technique changes are going to translate onto the court. So when we start to make those changes, and when we start to kind of like understand why we need to make these changes, I think we're going to see really good things from her, because she's super physical, 6'4", long, great blocker. She's pretty good on a slide. There's again, just some technique stuff that we can change.
So, and I chatted with a couple of the players back early August, into July. Andi and Kenna both mentioned you and just your coaching style and how much they feed off of that. So, and I think it was Kenna that basically said the belief that you instill. And so how your coaching style, how do you go about instilling that belief and being that person that they want to run through a brick wall for, but then also finding those ways to challenge them too?
Yeah, I think I was in a unique position where being under like Coach Cook and kind of like my role as a GA, where I was so close with the middles, and I didn't play middle in college. So everything was new to me. And so I was, in a way, I felt every time I would come to practice, I wasn't a player, but all of the new information, like all the new technical cues, everything, I was ingesting like almost like drinking out of a fire hydrant, where there was so much information where I could kind of like come from a better place of understanding, because I wasn't a middle. And so I feel like I have like a good grasp of things that helped me to be able to help them. And I was going through that with Andi, Layla, Becca, Caitlin Horde, at the time, Maggie, when she was here, that I was going through the same things like with them, and like learning what to look for, kind of like learning how Nebraska does these things. And so I think it comes from that place where I like really, really understand what is being asked of you. And I know that it's going to be hard, but like you have to like go through the failure process. And I think that's the biggest thing, where I want them to fail. I want them to know that it is okay. Like it is a learning moment, and kind of like figure out ways for myself and them to get them out of that, and really like sit in with that. So I think that's where that comes from.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. Cause you kind of grew up with Andi a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Like, I mean, cause you kind of had to learn it as she was coming in, and she was green and learning it too. So kind of the same experiences. That's fascinating. Okay. So we're a week from Thursday out from Spikes Under the Lights. What are the things that you're looking for out of your group here to close out, I guess, the training camp part of it before you guys really hit the ground for the season?
Yeah. I think it's just with the amount of time that we've practiced, it's very new. So there's a lot of kind of like unknown where we're practicing a week sooner in the summer and we're not at Devaney to start, or we won't be in Devaney for a while. So it's a lot of kind of like embracing the struggle, where I think this is going to be great for us, where it's a lot of new, the Big Ten tournament, how that's going to be laid out, Spikes Under the Lights, going to Vegas, Wrigley Field, South Dakota. It's a lot of random and we're out of our routine, which I think is awesome. And like, I think we were too comfortable in, okay, we usually do this, we always do this. And I think it's going to find a new way to have a struggle where all four of us, Jalen, Kelly, Danny, myself, we haven't done these kinds of things before. So we're all going to kind of like be in the same boat where we're going to lead however best we can, because again, it's a lot of unknown. And so I think going into that, it's just, can we bring almost like more excitement into that and just kind of see where we go from there.
Danny was saying too, kind of with the opportunity with the exhibition, probably could play a lot of players. So how are you going to go about figuring out who's going to play in the amount of time? Like, what will you be looking for here over the next couple of weeks? Yeah.
We've been tracking, obviously, like stats play a piece to it, but stats don't tell the whole story. So there's a lot of character-wise, what is being said like on the court? How can you affect the game when you're not in the game, when you're on the sideline, when your rotations are up? Serving, I feel like your strength as a server. Even we've been keeping track of win percentage in 6-on-6 drills, and so I think that also plays a piece into it, where it's, are you affecting winning? Are you having like some ebbs and flow in terms of momentum shifts when you go in? How big is your impact on both sides of the ball, or some of the things that we'll look for?
Yeah. Okay. What I guess initial opportunity are you most excited for?
I can't wait to play Texas personally.
Yeah.
Growing up a Husker volleyball fan, always looked forward to those matches, and I wasn't on the sidelines when we lost to them in 23 is the last time, but I think it's just a really cool opportunity, and I'm really happy that both schools are wanting to kind of like get back to playing each other, because I think we hadn't played since then, and in the preseason they used to play all the time, and so I know that there were a lot of scheduling conflicts where both schools wanted to obviously play each other just for the history, but I'm really excited that that's going to get like back up again. And going to be on Big Fox. Yeah. That's huge for the sport too. Continuing to get those opportunities on Fox and the major networks. Yep. All right, well, great stuff. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on a great start so far. I mean, it's a lot of hype around your group. I know that comes a lot of pressure, but you're looking forward to it, I'm sure. Yes, yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we'll look forward to talking to you, I guess, here in a few weeks. All right, sounds good. Thank you. Brennan Hagar here with us on our first episode of The Dig of the 2026 season. Emeritus is proud to power this podcast and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for listening and watching.